Listening to your own voice can be bad enough for some people, but listening to your own sexual phone calls in silence with two detectives in the room as you realize you've just been caught red-handed has got to be worse than any prison sentence there is. However, with the language they've used so far, there's no evidence that the pair have actually engaged in any sexual acts. But that changes quickly as Jason begins to directly incriminate Sharleen on the call.
I just want you to look at me sometimes and be like, damn, my woman's fine.
Fine as wine.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a live-ass fucking head game. Oh, my God.
It wasn't my best moments. I was just trying to get it done.
Are you in bed?
Don't even get me thinking about that because it makes me so horny. Like, just going back and thinking about that.
It gets you horny?
Oh, yeah. When you felt me, I was like soaking through my clothes. Get very horny very easy. I always want to have sex.
Good.
Like, that's not even...
Not good.
I mean, I feel like I just, like, look at someone, I'm like, oh, my God, I'm so fucking horny. No, like, of course, like, I only get horny for you.
You can't see how that sounds from, like, my point of view. Like a more recent thing than 3 years ago. No?
The audacity she has to say no after hearing that phone call is truly remarkable. But to her credit, she's not going down easily. The detectives try asking her if she thinks Jason would cover for her, and she still doesn't break, sticking to her story that everything that happened outside of prison. Technically, this story could still be true with this phone call, but it definitely is odd for the couple to be recounting events from over 3 years ago in such detail, especially when earlier she struggled to remember any details about their relationship.
You talk about how profound this was, like just giving him this blowjob was, but you like don't remember anything about it. It's like telling me something, but you're having trouble coming up with details about it. You know what I mean? Like if it's that profound.
I mean, I gave him a blowjob. How do you describe the blowjob? I mean, is that?
Well,
what
I'm
you
not want to know like about the blowjob. I'm just so if this is a factual thing that happened 3 years ago, I feel like you would kind of remember some stuff about it. Like
I mean, like we said in the car, Like
when I asked you who was there, him of course, like when y'all met or whatever, and then when I asked like who else, you said it was like a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
But like you can remember one chick's name after you think about it for 30 seconds. So that's not making sense to me.
You seem to have blanks in your memory when we get to certain details, but you remember being groped in the blowjob from 3 years ago. I find that hard to believe. Okay? This is your one chance to be honest with us.
Yes.
Once we get up and walk out and we're done, we're done. Have y'all had any inappropriate contact, whether it's groping, blowjobs, vaginal, anal sex, anything, hand jobs? Yes, I am being vulgar to get a point across.
Yeah, no, it's not. None of that.
Just as the detectives say, things really aren't adding up. Yet she's still sticking to her story. Or at least she was, before a switch flipped and she said this.
And what is it?
I might have given him a blowjob in the back part of the
In the back part of the quad? Okay. Mm-hmm. How long ago was that?
I don't know, a few months ago.
The secret's out, and Sharleen has confessed. But this matter is more complex than it may seem. In cases of officer-inmate relations, the main question that arises is the issue of consent. Given that Jason and Sharleen knew each other prior to being in prison, it's not wrong to assume that consent went both ways in this interaction. However, in these cases, that's actually completely irrelevant. According to a 2005 report, federal law criminalizes all sexual relations and contact between prison staff and inmates, and that all sexual relations between staff and inmates are considered abuse, even if the act would have been considered consensual if it occurred outside of a prison. This is because of the huge amount of inmate abuse that was observed in prisons. In 1996, it was estimated that between 12 and 14% of all prison inmates had been sexually assaulted, and the officers were rarely punished. So to prevent this, a zero-tolerance policy was introduced to try and prevent abuse towards inmates. A policy, it seems, that Sharleen completely ignored.
I'm going to ask, but I feel like I know the answer. I'm losing my job.
So that's not really up to me. Internal affairs is aware. Investigation is separate from ours because it's two totally different things. So
Yeah. What kind of charges would, like,
so it's illegal to have sexual contact with an inmate as an employee. So I said the ball kind of be in their court, but I'll let you know as soon as I hear something.
I mean, would I go to jail?
That's up to the DA's office.
As it turns out, Sharleen would lose her job, and the only time she'd ever be allowed back in jail would be for the 100 days that she'd be made to serve after being found guilty of sexual activity with a person in custody.